Hi class, this is number 4 and 5.2. The time it takes a person to wash dishes is uniformly distributed between 9 and 17 minutes. What is the probability that a randomly selected event of washing dishes will take a person between 11 and 16 minutes? So uniform distribution looks like a rectangle. And we can draw like an axis, but the most important thing is it looks like a rectangle. And sometimes it starts at 0, 0, and it's like between 0, 0 and wherever it stops. Here they say between 9 and 17 minutes. So we can say that it starts like at 9 minutes here and it goes all the way to 17 minutes. And it just means there's a rectangle. We can see that we can just think of the distribution as being a rectangle like this. And so something important is when you have a probability distribution. This is the same thing with when we talked about the probability distributions, and we talked about them with the x and the p of x, and we talked about how the p of x has to add to one whole. All the probabilities of everything that possibly could happen has to equal one whole. Well, we're going to start talking about the height of this rectangle will be the probability that a certain event happens, and actually the probability over a certain range. So the probability that the person is going to finish doing the dishes between 9 and 10 minutes would be that probability can be calculated by calculating the area under this curve between 9 and 10. So the height of the curve, and since this is uniform, the probability between that it happens between 9 and 10 minutes is the same as the probability between 10 and 11, as the same as the probability between 11 and 12. The height is going to be the same height, so off of the ground. And just like all of these, the probabilities have to add up to 1. So the area under this curve and the area of this rectangle have to equal 1 as well. So they said that it goes between 9 and 17 minutes. That means there must be nobody finishes nobody finishes the dishes in 8 minutes. It's only between 9 and 17. So this says what's the probability. So because they said between 9 and 17, it's uniformly distributed. I draw my rectangle over 9 and 17. Then it says, now I want to know what is the probability of a person washing dishes taking them between 11 and 16 minutes. So now all I have to do is find the area of this rectangle between 11. 11 would be way over here, right? I can have it not spacing this out very well. Try to keep this evenly spaced if you can. Well, I'm not, but that's okay. So we just have to find the area of this region over 11 to 16 minutes. And you may be like, well, and it is a rectangle, so the formula to find the area of, well, let's mark a square. The formula to find the area of a rectangle is the length times by the width. Well, we can find what the length of this is. It's just 16 minus 11. That's how we can find this distance here along the length, right? And that's 16 minus 11, which would be 5. There's a length of 5 along the top. Now, the tricky part, that might be tricky part, is what is the width here? And that's the tricky part. And to figure out that width, we have to go back to the fact that the area of this bigger, larger triangle or rectangle has to be 1 whole. The area of that has to be 1 whole. And if you think about it, if you made this big rectangle into 17 or between 9 and 17, so what is that? 9 and 17 is 9 minus 17 is 18. There has to be 8 equally spaced. You basically cut this rectangle into 8 equally spaced things. They all have to add to one whole. So they have to be 1/8 in value. But we also could figure this out that because 9 and 17, by forcing the area of this green rectangle to be one whole, we have to first calculate the width of the green rectangle, which is 17 minus 9, which is 6, right? 8, 8, 8. Sorry. Which is 8. And then we'll use some algebra and we'll say, okay, well, let's say the height here, let's just call it h. Then this height times that width must be the area of the green rectangle. The area of that green rectangle has to be 1. Because they describe that. It's universally distributed between over minutes 19 through 17. And they didn't mention anything else anywhere else. So that must be all of the possible times to wash dishes in. So the area over there must be 1, and then the length is 8, but then the width is the h. And so now it's a little algebra problem here, but it's 8 times h equals 1. What is h? So you have to rely on your Algebra 1 skills here. If you have a variable attached to the front, or a constant term, like they call it a coefficient attached to the front of a variable like this, then to get rid of it and to get that variable by itself, you just divide by both sides by that coefficient here. So divide both sides by 8, and you get that it is 1/8. So the height of that rectangle is 1/8. And it's also the height of the black rectangle, right? Those are the same heights. So the area of this black rectangle, which is the probability of it being between 11 and 16, which is the probability we're looking for, that's equal to 1/8 the area. It's the area of that rectangle. So the width, which is 1/8, times the length, which we said was 5. So it's 1/8 times 5. So I can put 5 over 1, and I get 1 times 5. Multiply the numerators together is 5, and then 8 times 1, if I multiply the denominators together, is 8. And I get the probability of somebody washing the dishes between 11 and 16 minutes is 5/8. And there we go. And let's just double check the answer here. And let me just find out what's 5 divided by 8. And it's 0.625. So they rounded it here to 0.63. Oh yes, to 2 decimal places. Yeah, to 0.623. All right, so I hope this really helped you with this problem. Have a great day. Email me if you have questions. Bye.